Okay, you close your eyes. So I'll talk to people about what we're doing while we're doing this, David. So about me talking to them. Well, in fact, you know, they're learning things and you'll learn as well. Okay, so we do what we usually do, is pretend that your eyes won't open. Okay, just complete the, this works better the more we enter into it. So you completely pretend, completely imagine your eyes won't open. When you're sure they won't open, you can test they won't open. You'll be able to test them as hard as you like. That's good, as long as your eyes are closed like this, as long as your eyes won't open, nothing we do this afternoon will bother you. Nothing will concern you in the slightest. As long as your eyes won't open, nothing we do will bother you in the slightest. Excuse me. From time to time I'll put my hand on this right shoulder. When I put my hand on this right shoulder, you sink so much deeper into this. When I put my hand on this right shoulder, you sink so much deeper into this. So just sinking deeper and deeper down. Now that's good. The sound of my voice will guide you deeper. So there will be other sounds coming in. There might be sounds from outside. That's life going on out there. That's good to know life goes on out there while you relax comfortably here. So those sounds will guide you deeper. We welcome those sounds in. It's important to know that as I speak to everybody in the room, including David, that if we have a great ocean-going liner full of passengers going across the Atlantic, and all the passengers are fast asleep, if you switch the engines off, they all wake up. It's not the sound that is keeping them awake, it's the change. So sounds going on out there, that's good, that's the life goes on out there, that's good. Knowing that is comforting, and all those sounds can guide you deeper. There may be sounds that are coming from in this room, people moving around, perhaps people having a drink. All those sounds will guide you deeper. Particularly each sound coming from my voice will guide you deeper. Each word that I speak, each syllable, everything I say from now will guide you deeper, even your own processes. So each out-breath will guide you deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. We're moving down the scale. I was talking about the scale of being awake and being asleep earlier. We're all on that scale. I'll just draw this on your arm, just to remind people, because this is all part of our teaching. Draw this on your arm. So way down here is sleep. We're not going there. We don't need to go there. And up here is where you are now, about this level of awakeness. And you can sink down. We move down. And we get into this band, which we call the hypnoidal state. So there's these things which you can learn about, the hypnagogic and hypnopompic states. Once we're in that band, that's when we're in hypnosis. So we're guiding our people into that place, and they give signs. I can feel David's body warming now. That's his capillaries open. We're getting some lacrimation around his eyes. This is your lacrimal ducts, your tear ducts open, and you start to get tears around the eyes. Your eyelids flicker. They will only flicker when you're closed. When you're in hypnosis, you can't make them flicker when you're wide awake, when they're closed. So we've got to keep a connection with David. So we keep him connected via, my touch. Connect him with this part, this world, which he knows about. But we're going to this place so we can make these changes. He just talked about this, the changes we want to make. You sink deeper and deeper now. Good. And you're doing that really well. So all you need to do is nothing. He's talked about the particular behaviour. This is somebody who's aware. He's aware of his own processes. He drives to work, about a 40-mile drive. Halfway along there's a BP station. Has no effect. Coming home always triggers that behaviour. Stop, ice cream, Snickers bar. Snickers ice cream. Has one of those, and that's fine. That's satisfied that thing. So it's a part of him. We've all learnt that today. Part of him which is operating the same way all the time, and he doesn't want it, and he doesn't need it. So we can work with that parts that we were talking about earlier. So we'll do the same thing, idiomotor response. We can get people to speak. We can get people to nod their head. Sometimes get people who are paralysed, and you can do it by putting the tongue out, that sort of thing. Any way this can signal is fine. But the way we'll do it today, if you want to give a yes answer, that can come by allowing this pointy finger on your right hand to rise clearly, A no answer is from this pointy finger on your left hand. If you don't know an answer or you don't want to give an answer, you can just allow both fingers to rise at the same time. Okay, so that's an allowing process, not a doing process. Okay, that's good. I'm going to speak now. I'm speaking to David's parts. We always are when we're speaking to people, all the parts. It's at the appropriate bits that need to respond will respond. Okay, so asking David now to go into your inner mind, become aware of the part of you that's responsible for that behaviour, which is triggered by seeing your BP garage on the way home from work and triggers that response of getting that Snickers ice cream. Go into your inner mind and become aware of that part. So you don't need to do anything, allow it to come to you. However it manifests itself, whether it's something you see in your mind's eye, perhaps some face or some other shape, something you hear, a voice maybe, some other sound, a feeling, an emotion of some kind, or maybe some other experience of that part. But just allowing that sort of part, sense that part, allow that part to become manifested and make itself known to you. When it's ready to communicate with us, you can let me know that with that pointy finger on your right hand rising nice and clearly. That's good. That's good, that's good. Thank you for that. So I'm speaking directly to this part of David now, responsible for this behaviour which is triggered when he meets that BP garage on the way from home. And thank you for communicating. You know, thanks for communicating. That's a big moment. And so I'm going to ask this part. You know, if there was another part of David, if there was another part of me, I put my hand on you at all, you just sink so much deeper now. That's good, you're doing this really well. So all you need to do this is nothing. You wonder what to do next, nothing. Okay, just sinking deeper and deeper with each sound of my voice. So I'm asking this part which has just come forward. If another part was prepared to come forward and take over responsibility for how David responds to seeing that BP garage on the way home, if another part was prepared to come forward and take over completely and permanently that responsibility, but respond in a different way that's more healthy, more satisfying, you know, and certainly not buying, you know, confectionery bars. If another part was prepared to come forward and take over that responsibility in that way, would you be prepared to hand over that responsibility? And so if you, that's right, that's good. So there's clear indication there. And that's the kind of indication you look for. Yeah, that kind. Okay, that's good. So I need to ask now, we speak into all those parts, that great space of parts. Is there another part of David prepared to come forward now and take over responsibility from this first part, such that in future, when he meets that BP garage on the way home, the response is completely different. It's not buying, you know, confectionery bar, an ice cream bar. The response is completely different. It's something which is really satisfying, really healthy, and that may be just continuing to drive home. But the response is satisfying, healthy, and strengthening, making him feel better about himself. So is there another part prepared to come forward and take over responsibility in that way? Good, thank you for that. So now we have these two parts. This part responsible at the moment for the current behaviour of eating the Snickers, and the part prepared to come forward and take over that responsibility, but to behave in a different way, to respond in a different way. So these two parts we've got here. And one, the first one is prepared to hand over responsibility. The second part, we're almost there, you know, but we do need to check. We need to do this so-called ecological check, you know, a global check. Let's check with all parts. Let's ask them all. Let's check with all parts. If we do make this change from this first part to the second part, if we do make this change permanently, will all parts of David be satisfied and comfortable with that new arrangement? That's good, thank you for that. So why wait? So in a moment I'll count to 3, snap my fingers gently like this, just that little snap. That would be the signal to transfer from this first part to the second part. Okay, so count to 3, snap my fingers. When I snap my fingers, you transfer that responsibility to this new part, such that in future, meeting that BP garage will trigger another behaviour, healthy, satisfying, maybe just driving home, but certainly not buying confectionery bars, just something healthy. Let's do that now. So 1, 2, 3, that little snap, there it is. You sink deeper and deeper. You don't need to do anything, you're just allowing these changes to make. Allow that transfer responsibility to this new part to take place, and once that's complete, you can let me know that with that pointy finger on your right hand, rising nice and clear. Good, thank you. So we just make sure that's locked in. So that's the change now we've got. Okay, so we're just reinforcing that that's locked. That's not something we can slide back from. In fact, this first part, which is used to do that old behaviour, you're free now, and you're free to, do something else, something really, really useful. Really, really useful. You can, go and tell this man each day that his contribution is valuable. His contribution is important. That it makes the world a better place. And that's all we're trying to do. And all the people in this room now, they're trying to make the world a better place for other people, so that those other people can then make the world a better place. We're helping people. That's what we do with therapists. So the first part that used to be there with that behaviour, it's your job now. You tell this man each day that his contribution is valued. It's part of those building bricks that make the world a better place, and that is valued by David and by everybody in this room, everybody who comes into connection with him. That's good. Okay, so we make sure all those behaviours are locked in. Okay, so you just sink deeper and deeper and deeper. So we're going to demonstrate in a moment 6-step reframe. I'm going to go through it and I'll explain it, how it works. So once you've seen it once, then you better look it up, and there's various people videoing this, so it might appear somewhere. Okay, but before we do that, we'll just bring David out of this. So in a moment I'll count to 5. When I get to 5, your eyes will be open, you'll be wide awake, you'll be feeling absolutely just fantastic, knowing we've made these changes and made them permanent, changes that you wanted. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open please, that's good, and eyes closed please. Okay, sink deeper and deeper and deeper, that's good, you're doing that really well. Okay, sinking deeper, so this is a kind of form of fractionation, we go deeper and deeper, that's right, so each sound of my voice guides you deeper and deeper. You can keep doing this, so just go deeper each time you do it. Very, very useful for anaesthesia work. So we're going to find the behaviour now. Now, what I'm going to say to David is that we're simulating here. So you'll know it's a simulation, and it's for your benefit. So what he's doing now is to help you. You'll learn this as well, but this is an important thing we should be grateful for. So it's a behaviour I'm just going to make up, and David doesn't bite his nails, so I'm going to say it's nail biting, but he knows this is a simulation. Okay, but his inner mind is so powerful, it will just play that game for us, it'll be fine. Okay, so what we're dealing with here is nail biting, this nail biting simulation, which I'll just call nail biting for now. So go into your inner mind, become aware of the part of you that's responsible for your nail biting, however that manifests itself. Always giving people the opportunity, making it easy for people. How do these parts manifest? Something they see, something they hear, something they feel. There's only so much experience your inner mind can have, so that's okay. Just become aware of how it manifests itself. That part of you responsible for your nail biting. Incidentally, I wouldn't normally use 6-step reframe for nail biting. It's a much more serious thing, but it is a powerful technique. So becoming aware of that part of you. If you don't become aware of the part of you responsible for your nail biting, it might be that your inner mind's just not comfortable with what I'm suggesting, and that's fine. If you do become aware of the part of you responsible for your nail biting, then I'd like to thank that part, and internally you can thank that part as well for communicating in this way. Because what I want to say to this part, this nail biting, under this simulation, David's been biting his nails for all this time and doesn't want to, is that part must be very powerful, because even though he's wanted to make this change in the past, he's not been able to do that. So this is a very, very powerful part. We have powerful parts of our mind, and that's gratifying to know. So I'm acknowledging that this part's very powerful, but I'm going to ask you now to reframe your understanding of that part, to realise, even though it might be counterintuitive, that the intention of that part has been to help you or benefit you in some way. It's giving you some kind of benefit, and for the benefit of the whole group here, the benefit is an emotional benefit. Remember, the subconscious is an emotional landscape. It's an emotional benefit. So going into your inner mind now, becoming aware of what the benefit of nail biting has been for you in this simulation. What's been the benefit of nail biting? You know, has it helped get something that you needed, you really desired? You know, perhaps it's giving you something to do. You know, perhaps you felt as though you're so restless you need something to do. Has it helped you avoid something that was uncomfortable or painful even? Perhaps it's been a distraction. Just asking you again, David, to understand that this behaviour, this part has been intending to give a benefit to you. Keeping that benefit in mind, ask you now to go into your inner mind and realise that there's an alternative behaviour which can give you the same benefit of nail biting, but be healthier and more satisfying to you. So it's another behaviour which will give this same benefit, but be more satisfying and healthier for you. Okay, so in a moment I'm going to ask you to tap into your own creative resources. These are limitless, and you don't need to do anything. You don't need to build anything, or design anything, or create anything, or do anything whatsoever. This is a limitless resource you can use every day. As a fellow engineer, you know what that's like. You come up with new ideas, new ways of doing things, new thoughts every day. That's what we do. Every day, that's what people do. So I'm going to ask you in a moment to go into your inner mind and do a job. And you can do this lightning fast. So right now, tap into your creative resources of your mind and just allow it to generate for you an alternative behaviour which you can substitute for nail biting, that will give you the same benefit of nail biting, but be more satisfying and healthier for you. Now, your inner mind can do, your creative part can do that lightning fast. It might go around that loop several times and create lots of different behaviours, 3 different behaviours, 4. Even after we've finished today, sometime tonight, it might come up with some new behaviours which are even better. That's fine, and that happens. Once your inner mind's created that new behaviour, as you sink deeper and deeper, once your inner mind's created that new behaviour, just go in and check with all the parts. We're always checking with all the parts to make sure they're okay, because if there's not, if you don't, there could be a conflict. Go into it and check with the part that was responsible for your nail biting behaviour, and all the other parts, that everything feels alright, sounds alright, looks alright. You know, to all the parts, make sure all the parts are happy and satisfied and comfortable. If there's any particular discomfort with that, then you might need to go back around that loop and allow your creative part to generate some alternative behaviours. But once you've generated alternative behaviours and all your parts are satisfied and comfortable with that change, then I'm going to ask you to go into your inner mind again and take part in this exercise we call future pacing. So we're going to go into the future, to that next time when there'll be a nail biting opportunity, the thing that triggers nail biting in this simulation. So go into the future now, into the next occasion where there'd be one of those occasions where you'd normally bite your nails. But imagine yourself on this occasion to use this new behaviour, or behaviours you've just become aware of. If there's any really significant difficulty with that, it might mean that you allow your mind to go back around that loop and generate new behaviours, or back even further to become aware of some benefit that you weren't aware of before. Your mind can do this lightning fast, and we come back to this place and imagine yourself in the future where there's a nail biting opportunity, but you imagine yourself with those alternative behaviours. Imagine yourself use that. And once you've done that, you've completed this process of reframing. Okay. What I often do now is this bit, which is an amnesia patch. It's really useful after 6-step reframe, and in fact Bandler and Grinder recommend this, that you do an amnesia patch. When you do something quite complicated like this, it can, if you've got an analytical mind, and engineers often do have that, you kind of, the temptation to go and analyse it is a bit strong, and you can go and unpick it if you're not careful. So we can put an amnesia patch in, which just stops them going and analyse it. So we've been talking this morning so much about conscious mind and subconscious mind, but when we've finished this process here, the conscious mind might begin to wonder which things it needs to remember, which things only your subconscious needs to know, and then you can remember to forget, or you might choose to forget to remember, but your memory of forgetting forgets what it's forgotten until you realise it's too difficult to remember what you've forgotten anyway. So you can just forget any confusion there, just relax even more deeply than before. So that will send into that you will not want to go back there and try and analyse that bit. Okay, it's an amnesia patch, it's quite a useful thing. I'll get that to you. So in a moment I'll count to 5. When I get to 5, your eyes will be open. You'll be wide awake, having completely learnt this 6-step reframe and really kind of understood deeply how we do parts. So I'll count to 5, I get to 5, your eyes will be open. You'll be wide awake, you'll be feeling great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, please. What was that? Hey. I'm happy to leave me here. Yeah, good. You'd stay there a moment.